Introduce you. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Unquestionably Raw NBA podcast. I am your host, Matt Miller. We are back again after about a 2-month hiatus. We'll be pumping these out a lot now that the playoffs are starting because I'll probably start picking a matchup after that game's over. We'll go on. But I'm going to introduce my panel first. Everybody at the end of the Sim Hangout, y'all have all heard. I always shout out Byron. First, let me introduce you guys to Byron. That is my best friend. I like the hat. He is really H-Town's finest. It's not me. Welcome back, Byron.
H-Town stand.
Yes. And also we have DJ Gonzo Star. What's going on, Gonzo? Welcome back.
What's going on?
Oh, man, doing good. And then Pete Toll will be joining us. He's busy with something right now, so he will be joining us in just a few minutes. He'll pop up. You'll see him. But we are going to get started first. I know I got the playoff predictions. We're going to do that last. We're going to start with our end-of-the-year awards. We're going to start with let's go with Sixth Man of the Year first. Gonzo, I'm coming to you. Who is your NBA Sixth Man of the Year for this season?
Sixth Man of the Year. Wow. I'm probably going to go maybe Jordan Clarkson. I mean,
okay. No Lou Williams
I'll go
this
Jordan
year?
Clarkson. But you know, I like Lou, but see, at some point in time, it's like Lou starts off as a sixth man, but then he moved into the starting lineup, then he moved back to sixth man. So I don't know if Lou Williams is really a sixth man. I've always seen him as I've always thought Lou Williams should be a starter, and he kind of started some games. Then he moved into sixth man. It's like they kept going back and forth with him. So that's why I didn't really want to put him as sixth man.
Okay. Very good. All right, Byron, your turn now. Who's your sixth man of the year?
I'm going Lou Williams all day long.
Hey, can't argue because that's my pick as well. It seems like the obvious pick. I mean, there are guys, Eric Gordon has a case. I mean, I like Fred VanVleet in Toronto. I think he's done an outstanding job off the bench for them. Clarkson's been really good off the bench for both LA and now Cleveland. So I mean, it just depends on how you see it. I don't think there really is a wrong answer. I mean, some people are, how do you not have Lou Williams? You're a dummy. That's not the case. All right, we'll go to our next one now. We will go with most improved player. Byron, I'm going to you for this one.
Victor Oladipo.
This one may be unanimous. I could be wrong, though. Gonzo, who do you got?
Oladipo all day.
Nice. I got Oladipo as well. And because we did this really quick, Gonzo, who are a few other guys you liked this year that you thought really improved their games and took another step?
I like Clint Capella.
Oh, yes. Outstanding pick there. I totally agree. Byron, are you with Gonzo on that one with Clint Capella?
Of course, I ain't going against the home team, man.
That was a dumb question. That was a dumb question to ask you. What do you guys think about Jamal Murray?
There's one more.
Go ahead. Who?
Dwight Howard.
Most improved? Interesting. I mean, he was a lot better this year than last year. So
the reason why I say that is because he's looking like the Dwight Howard of old. He didn't even play like that in Houston. He looks like the Orlando Magic Dwight Howard.
I saw him make some threes this year. Maybe I know I saw him hit one against Philly at the buzzer. It looked really good too. Oh, Gonzo popped off. Hopefully he's back on. A couple of other guys I like this year for that award. Obviously, like I said, I have Oladipo, but I think Jamal Murray made a lot of strides this year. I mean, we saw he had 7 straight points for the Nuggets last night going down the stretch, got him into overtime. I really like what he's doing for them. I also thought Sabonis, also from Indiana, much improved this year. Porzingis, before he got hurt, much better. You could even throw Giannis Antetokounmpo in the mix. He's even better than he was last year, and he won the damn award last year. So that's what we got there. Now, Byron, I'm coming to you, obviously, because it's just me and you right now. Gonzo will be back. Defensive Player of the Year. It's tough.
This is a tough one. I think I'm going to go with Paul George because the first half was phenomenal.
Okay.
But it could also go to Antetokounmpo, man.
He's been good. We'll go to Gonzo. Oh, there he is. Gonzo, are you back?
Yes, sir. I am.
Defensive Player of the Year. Who do you got?
I'm going with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant.
Oh, you're staying Durant. Wow, I did not think that anybody would still have him.
And the reason why I put Kevin Durant because what Kevin Durant has done with his on-ball skills, his chase down skills, his block shots, has been a much improved Kevin Durant. And I'm talking about despite having a Steph Curry in at times, despite having Draymond Green in at times, despite having Clay in at times, not to mention he's guarding point guards, shooting guards, small forwards, and power forwards. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to put Rudy Gobert, but Rudy Gobert missed a lot of games in the beginning.
That's fair. Okay. I wanted to go Joel Embiid. I wanted to, but I got to go Rudy Gobert. I know, like you said, Gonzo, he only played 56 games, but he's been so good defensively that I got to overlook that. And there's no rule that says you have to play 65, 70 plus games to win the award. So I got to go Rudy Gobert on this one. I really like what he's done defensively for them. I mean, you saw what happened. He went out. They were 7-8 games below 500. When he came back, that's when everything turned around for them defensively, offensively, obvious. And having him actually helps Donovan Mitchell as well, who's been fantastic. And we'll get to that Rookie of the Year race in a little bit. Now we are going to go to Coach of the Year. Gonzo, who is your Coach of the Year?
Quinn Snyder, Utah Jazz.
Okay. That's a very good choice. Very good. Byron, who do you got for Coach of the Year?
Brett Brown.
Nice. That is absolutely my pick. I am going Brett Brown. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you probably saw that coming already because this was a team who's I think going into the season, a lot of people had them no more than 37 wins. I mean, I think the highest I saw them, a win predictor, was 42, maybe 43. They won 52 games. They won their last 16 games of the season. I know it wasn't the greatest schedule in the world. They did beat, 4 over 500 teams in that stretch, 2 of which they beat without Joel Embiid. So, this team is fantastic. They finished 3rd in the Eastern Conference. Nobody saw that coming. Same thing with Utah with Quinn Snyder, so I can't argue with that.
I got one thing to add to that, though, for everybody out there listening. Look, the reason why I chose Quinn Snyder is because we can look at Philadelphia. Philadelphia has an all-star center in Embiid. They have a very good point guard in Ben Simmons. Well, they have a lot of shooters on their team. They have quite a few shooters. They got Redick, they got Covington, they got Sarge, they got, I think, Ilyasova, Bellinelli. They got guys who can shoot, which spreads the floor, makes it easy, makes it a lot easier. Yeah. Utah Jazz, the only shooter I can actually say that's really a knockdown shooter on Utah is probably Joe Ingles.
Yeah.
Like, they lost the all-star on Gordon Hayward. They were not predicted to make it to the playoffs this year. They lost their point guard in George Hill, who was pretty good last year. I think he had a career high in points per game last year. They lost a lot of key pieces, and they didn't really improve the 3-point shooting. And then Gobert was hurt in the beginning. You're relying on a rookie to start. You're in a tough Western Conference, and you managed to squeak out and I think get 4th or 5th place in the West. Look, Russell Westbrook last year, who people ignorantly gave him the MVP award because of a triple-double.
Oh, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
He couldn't even get his team to 5th place last year. I think they were 6th, right?
Yes. They were 6th, yes. Yes, they were 6th. Hey, I can't argue against
They're 6th again this year, no?
Yeah. No, they were 4th. They got 4th. They got the tiebreaker over Utah, so Utah is 5 and OKC is 4. I can't argue with Quinn Snyder. There's a lot of coaches that have a case this year. It's kind of like last year's MVP race where you had 3 or 4 guys who all had a legitimate case. Granted, I wouldn't have went Westbrook, but we'll get to Westbrook in a little bit. We have to. Now let's go to Rookie of the Year. I'm going to you, Byron. Who's your Rookie of the Year?
Man, this one is I've wrestled with this. The last time you asked me this, I think it was around the All-Star weekend. I said it was maybe a tie between, I think I might have said something along the lines.
I think you said Donovan Mitchell slightly.
Yeah, and
I think
or something along the lines of like I would like to see co-rookies, a la Jason Kidd and Grant Hill and Elton Brand and
that can only happen if the votes go if the votes just even up.
Right, and I wouldn't be mad if we saw that again, but I think Ben Simmons has just been like phenomenal, exceptional. He showed his leadership skills. He's not the best to shoot. He's like Magic Johnson 2.0. And without Embiid, they finished with like a 12.
They went 8. They went 8. They won 8 in a row, but the game he got hurt very early. He got hurt in the first quarter, so they basically went 9-0 without him.
Right, and they played some good teams, man. I mean,
in that stretch, they played 2 games. Right. I mean, here's the thing: Charlotte is not an easy team to beat in their gym. They're a very good home team. Detroit's a very good home team, which they went into Detroit and won. And Detroit was playing well. They had won 5 straight when Philly went in there and beat them. And I think Detroit was like a 24-15 home team at the time. So it was a good road win.
Right.
And Detroit was fighting for their playoff lives. Exactly.
So, I mean, they remind me of that young Orlando Magic team that had Penny and Shaq. I like their energy. I like, I love Ben Simmons, the way he plays the game of basketball. He lost Embiid. He got Markelle Fultz back, and he's a great facilitator. And I think the NBA is going to be his soon.
Yep, I'm with you there. Gonzo, who do you got for Rookie of the Year?
I have Utah Jazz's Spider Mitchell.
Nice.
Donovan Mitchell all day. Look, tougher conference. You relying totally on a rookie to be. See, the thing with Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons is not even the first or second option on his team to score. It's Embiid, JJ Redick, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a lot of his assists. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's an excellent passer. I give him that credit. But it makes the game a lot easier when you have shooters. Covington, Redick, Saric. You got Ilyasova. You got Bellinelli. You got Markelle Fultz now who seems to be getting into a little groove. So you got 5 or 6 guys that can shoot, spread the floor for you, make it very, very easy for you. Not to mention when Embiid's there, that gives you 5, 6, maybe 7 guys now who can spread the floor for you. Not to mention Embiid draws double teams late in games. So it leaves you open for a lot of opportunity to get to the basket and set other people open for shots because you are a good passer. Donovan Mitchell, on the other hand, I mean, that this guy, it has to be the scorer for his team. They're doing it with a cast of technically should not even making the playoffs. They got a lot of new acquisitions. Gobert was hurt the first part of for a small portion of the first half of the season. So right now, I would have to say Donovan Mitchell. He carried a rookie, and Donovan Mitchell made a very good point about rookie. A rookie is a person who's spent who's never had any, I guess, experience with any professional team yet. Let's be honest. Ben Simmons did not play a game last year.
The only reason I completely disagree with Donovan Mitchell is because the NBA rule says he's a rookie, so I'm going with what the NBA rule says. They got to change it.
I mean, but still, Donovan Mitchell, he made a good point that if you spend a year with the team, you might not play, but you can still learn plays, learn the language that they're using on the floor. You can still learn and talk more about your personnel or where they want to be on the floor. Donovan Mitchell learned this on the fly, coming straight out of high school with no kind of prep for the NBA, and learn on the fly and average, I think, 20.5 points a game. I think maybe a little more a game, and take his team to the number 5 seed in a tough Western Conference. Hands down, has to be Mitchell. I'm sorry.
While the West is tough, I don't think it's as hard this year as it's been in the past. Only because of injuries, though. Injuries have really made it not as good as it was in the last few years. But with guys healthy, I definitely have Ben Simmons. Anybody who follows me on Twitter knows I love the guy. I mean, especially what he does defensively, offensively. I mean, the guy is fantastic. But here's what I've noticed, and Gonzo, Byron, you remember this? When I know people I know some people didn't like it when Griffin won it, but there didn't seem to be as many complaints. And even last year, the first 30 games when Embiid was playing, nobody really cared that Embiid had sat 2 years. Nobody really said anything. But I think, and I want you guys to, and I'm going to go to you with this, and ask you this, Gonzo. If Donovan Mitchell wasn't having, arguably one of the best rookie seasons in 15, 20 years, nobody would really care, right? But because Donovan Mitchell has been so good, that's why it's an issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if Donovan Mitchell were averaging 15 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, there'd be no conversation.
Not at all. And it just goes to show you, like I said last year, Russell Westbrook, who averaged a triple-double, who everybody was so marveled at.
Don't go to Russell Westbrook yet, because we are going to get there.
No, I'm not really going on Russell. I'm making the point that Donovan Mitchell, being a rookie, took his team to a 5 seed, but a player like so-called Russell Westbrook could only take his team to a 6 seed last year, averaging a triple-double.
I mean, the pieces around Mitchell, I think, are better as a whole. Like Westbrook he had a lot of help last year. The pieces just, I don't think, fit.
But I don't think it was the piece that didn't fix. I mean, I think maybe that Russell kind of took away from everybody else being involved. Like, look what Domantas Sabonis did this year.
Yeah.
Like 11-8. Look at Victor Oladipo. He's averaging 24 or something. Look how Enes Kanter was playing the first half of the season.
Yes.
It wasn't them. It was Russell Westbrook.
I totally agree, but Oklahoma City fans they would go after us for that. But
yeah,
I understand.
they're probably chewing too much.
They hate when you attack Russell Westbrook. They do not like that.
They don't know basketball. They know Oklahoma Sooners football. So
that's cold. All right.
What you say? They're chewing on or smoking on hay.
Absolutely.
In the middle of the barn.
Right. Hey, now to the main award. We all pretty much know how
we're gonna get so much hate mail from Oklahoma.
Yeah, man, hey, it's all good. They can they can direct it towards me. MVP Gonzo. Who is this year's MVP? Russell Westbrook.
James Harden. If anybody says anything else other than James Harden, they're an absolute idiot. He should have 3 MVPs right now.
I agree.
He's been robbed. Like, what more does he have to do?
Hey, that's what Kobe Bryant said. What does he have to do? Average 40, 15, and 15?
And let's be honest. James Harden even stepped his defense up this year.
He did.
I'm not even talking about we're not even talking about defensive ratings. I'm talking about just key situations. He's ripping guys. I seen him block some shots in the paint.
Because you know what? He's giving a better effort on the defensive end this year.
Absolutely, and you see it.
You know why I think it is, though? I think a lot of that's all Chris Paul to me, and guys like PJ Tucker and Bamute, tough guys, and it's rubbed off on James Harden. I think it's more so Chris Paul with the leadership and all that stuff. It's rubbed off on Harden. He wants to win. Byron, let me guess, your MVP is Russell Westbrook.
No, actually, it's JaVale McGee. No, definitely James Harden, and there's no bias here because of Houston or anything. He should have won it the first year Curry won it. I'm sorry, no one expected that team to get to the conference finals. He should have been the MVP, and I'm not happy with the NBA with this new thing they do where they announce the winner after the season. That is so lame. Give him his trophy. Give him his trophy now. Give it to him. It should be unanimous. I think it's ridiculous that what I've been seeing on social media is like the comparisons and the stats with LeBron James and James Harden and arguing who should be the MVP. And people are actually saying LeBron James. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The 4th seed in the Eastern Conference.
I'll say this: if anybody deserves a couple first place votes, it would be LeBron James.
But are you kidding me, dude?
He's not the MVP, but if he gets a couple first place, I'm not going to gripe about that. I'm with all of you. It's James Harden. I don't think it's close. I get the LeBron James love. I get it. He's the best player in the world. I still don't think it's really close between him and number 2. And I said that in a tweet last week, I think. But still, it's James Harden. This nonsense that James Harden is not the MVP is crazy. It's just that. It is nonsense. Like, the guy has been fantastic this year. After coming back for that hard game 5 and 6 in the second round, the guy's come back. He's giving an effort defensively. He's I would say right now he's elevated himself to a slightly below average defender to average defensive player, which is outstanding for him because he was bad. That's an improvement. I know it doesn't sound that good, but that's a very the improvement was definitely there. But I got to ask you guys this, because for the first time in NBA history, a player has averaged a triple-double 2 seasons in a row, right? We know he's stat pad, and we get that, right? So he was first. He won the MVP last year. Everybody knows this. We all agree it was because of the triple-double, right? But if that's the case, he's probably not even going to finish top 5 or 6 in MVP voting this year. So what does that tell you, Gonzo, with the way that the MVP voting goes?
It goes to show you that the MVP voting, in most cases, is very fraudulent because Kobe Bryant, let's be honest, Kobe Bryant was robbed 1 year from they gave it to Steve Nash. I understand Steve Nash's team was better, but Kobe was putting up a great season with Smush Parker and Kwame Brown.
Yes. So
he was robbed, but it just goes to show you that the writers sometimes can be a joke. Like I think MVP people, we look too much into just the numbers, but I think we got to equate wins, but we have to look at an effect that the person has on the wins. Like LeBron James, he should be in the MVP category every year. Mm-hmm. I give you that.
He should be in the top 3 every year.
Honestly, he should be. He should. James Harden should be 1 or 2 every year. Look what he does for his team. Mm-hmm. Like, he can distribute the ball. He can go off the ball.
And I know Byron hates him. Steph Curry should be 1, 2, and 3, either 1, 2, or 3 every year. Look what's happened to that team without him.
Like even OKC, we value stats way too much. We could just see a stat line of a guy having 20, 10, and 10, and we're like, oh, triple-double. But we forget he shot 30%.
But like, here's the thing, though, and I'm going to go to Ben Simmons for this. That shows, like, you see the stats from Ben Simmons, but he's actually affecting the game in a positive way. He's making his teammates better.
Absolutely. He's doing, like, Russ has 10 assists, and you look at Ben Simmons' 10 assists, and you look at Russell Westbrook's 10 assists. It's like Ben Simmons' team is number 3 in the East, and they're like 9. I think 500 against during a 16-game win streak against over 500 teams. But they're like 16. They're on a 16-game win streak without Embiid. That's just how good of a facilitator Ben Simmons is for his team. Mm-hmm. Can we say that? Can we say the same thing about Russell Westbrook? Like, I think Russell Westbrook, they're a 4 seed just because Russell's their point guard. You swap Chris Paul out and put Chris Paul in there with Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. We're talking maybe a 1, 2, or 3 seed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hell, well, imagine if you put Steph Curry on that team, because Steph Curry's not selfish.
Well, you always find a way to put him in the conversation.
No, I'm being serious though. His assists would go way up if he were playing for OKC.
If we put Russell Westbrook on Philly right now and swapped him with Ben Simmons, Philadelphia might not be in the playoffs. They might be an 8th or 7th seed.
Yep.
In the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, because he'd never
in the Eastern Conference. Come on.
Joel Embiid and JJ Redick would never get the ball. They would never touch the ball.
That's always been my beef with that's always been my beef with Russ. I mean, yeah, we see the stat line, but like, he shot the lowest field goal percentage for an MVP ever. I think Allen Iverson was the lowest before. I think it was like 43%. Russ shot 42%. And we saw the effect Allen Iverson had on his team. He took his team to the finals. I haven't seen Russell Westbrook do that shit.
He had bums. Iverson took bums.
Bums. Come on. Let's just think about that roster for a minute. George, I can't shoot Lynch. Aaron, I might show up tonight. McKee.
Eric Snow.
Come on. Dikembe Mutombo. Tyrone Hill.
Yep. Jermaine Jones.
Come on, man. Like, I mean.
And look what I don't think that Philly team. I know Mutombo was great defensively, but that Philadelphia Steven Adams would have been that Philadelphia's team's second best player, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oladipo would have been that team's second best player. Hell, Robertson would have been one of their best players. People forget. I think this year proved. Everybody laughed at me when I said how good Andre Robertson is. Right? What happened when he went down this year? They really took a little tumble. Andre, I don't think people give him enough credit how good he is.
Yeah, I know.
He can't shoot a lick. I get that. He shoots like 35% from the free throw line. But damn it, they were playing really well. He goes down, and it was just up and down the rest of the year. They never really recovered from that. Yeah, now Russell, he's gone nuts the last few games. Got him into the playoffs because, just Saturday, or maybe it was Friday night, OKC fans were tweeting out, God, they got to win 2 or 3. They went from the last 3 games to possibly finishing 9th to finishing 4th. Russell Westbrook did his thing. Got him in the playoffs, Good job. It's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. I want to touch on one other thing before we get to these playoffs because I know Pete really wants. So I'm pushing this off. If he doesn't jump in, we'll just start with you guys, and then we'll go to Pete once he gets in. But so we saw Frank Vogel from Orlando gets fired and Hornacek in New York. Good decision by those 2 franchises, Gonzo, to get rid of their coaches.
I mean, this is a case. This is a case of I think that they were expecting a little too much with these coaches, considering that they don't really have a whole lot to work with. Like the Knicks were a mess before Hornacek got there.
Yep.
How much change did you think he was going to do? Like same thing with Orlando. Orlando was a mess. Yeah, you got Aaron Gordon. You got these these talented players, but they really didn't have any experience working together or anything of that nature. And you're expecting him to take them to a playoff team with a bunch of guys that really didn't fit to me. So it's like the coaches got fired for something that they were like doomed from the beginning, pretty much.
Yeah. All good stuff. Byron, are you kind of with Gonzo on that?
I mean,
not a fair rap for Hornacek or Frank Vogel.
You asking them to turn water into wine. It's hard. That New York franchise was a hot mess. I mean, oh God, don't get me started on Phil
here's
Jackson.
The thing with Phil Jackson, though. It's going to sound crazy. He actually left them in a better place when he left than when he took over, which is crazy.
Well, anyways, I mean, there wasn't like Gonzo said. Well, once Porzingis went down, he wasn't really working with much. Michael Beasley. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
It really sucks. You hate to see that happen when coaches don't get a fair shot. It's pretty typical of the NBA. I'm sure Hornacek will get another job just because of the name alone, the player he was.
And he did a good job when he was in Phoenix as coach.
Right. So he'll definitely get another job. I mean, so.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think,
and I'd like to see him win something because he didn't win as a player. So I'd like to see him win as a coach.
Thanks to Michael Jordan, right?
Oh yeah.
How many guys don't have rings because of Michael Jordan? Too many. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, well, it's time. Pete should be on. Pete's gonna jump on in about 3 minutes. He's exporting a file. He'll be with us in about 3 minutes. So we're gonna go to you, Byron, first because we're going to start with the Western Conference. And the first matchup, Byron, the Minnesota Timberwolves versus your Houston Rockets. 1 versus 8. Who do you got, Byron, in this series?
Of course, Houston. It's gonna be trying, though. I mean, this team is young. It's hungry. You've got some talent, Towns and Bud. Oh, my God. I mean, you've got. Yeah, it's gonna be a good matchup.
How many games do you think this one goes?
Just knowing how my Rockets like to build suspense. I'm going to say 4.
A sweep. You're calling a sweep.
I'm calling a sweep.
Wow, bold. I like it, though. Gonzo, Houston Rockets, Minnesota Timberwolves. Who do you got in how many games?
I'm worried about Minnesota's bench depth, and I'm worried about the minutes that Thibodeau has put on this starting 5. I think their starting 5 averaged the most minutes this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's a Thibodeau team.
So I'm going to say Houston in 5, possibility of a sweep.
Oh, wow. Dang, you guys are a lot higher on lower on this Minnesota team than I am. And everybody knows last year I made that really stupid prediction in our season preview a year ago, not this going into last year, where I had Minnesota 6th and going to the conference finals. It was, a thing. I thought Thibodeau would turn them around. But this year, they finished 8th. I think this is the worst possible matchup the Rockets could have gotten in the first round, and I'll tell you why. The Timberwolves are 8th, but when Jimmy went down, they were, I think, 3rd place. They're going to finish 3rd place in the Western Conference if Jimmy doesn't go down. That's what the Rockets are facing as an 8th seed. The Rockets got screwed, in my opinion, with their playoff bracket. I think Minnesota, you got Jimmy Butler with the playoff experience. He's clutch. He plays defense. You got the beast that is Karl Anthony Towns. Capella's not just going to walk all over. It's going to be a really tough matchup for Capella. The guard position is where it's going to be interesting with Wiggins and Jeff Teague. What can Jeff Teague give? We know he's got some playoff experience. Did really well for the Hawks. Decent for the Pacers. Not great. But I think that's where it's going to go. The bench, obviously the Rockets have the bench depth. It's going to be interesting what the Timberwolves can get out of guys like Bjelica, Gorgie Jang, Jamal Crawford. I mean, Gonzo, is Crawford washed? Is he washed now? What do you think?
I'm not going to say washed, but if you look at Jamal Crawford's shooting percentage, I think he shoots like 38% for his career. He's a streak shooter.
Yeah.
He's what you get. A crossover streak shooter. I mean, he can cross you over, great handles, but
does he have a good game or two in him in this series?
I don't know. I think it remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm. And also, we have to remember, I believe Mamute is going to be out this whole first round, right? With the separated shoulder, a dislocated shoulder. I'm guessing he's out. I think that's going to hurt the Rockets a little bit with their depth, especially defensively. Oh, and then I forgot to mention another guy I like from Minnesota is Taj Gibson. I mean, Gonzo, did you watch the game last night down the stretch, Nuggets and Timberwolves?
Absolutely. He locked up Jokic.
Oh, yes. Yes, the last, what was it, 3 minutes of fourth quarter and overtime?
Yeah, in overtime, yeah, he shut it down, yeah.
Yes. So I think that's another guy that's really going to help them defensively. And you saw it yesterday. The refs let them play a little bit in that game, and you saw some defense from the Timberwolves. Like at the end of regulation, I think they only gave up about 103 points, which in an NBA game, that's pretty good defense. Considering everybody thinks the Timberwolves are this trash defensive team, they showed, that they can do it. And with the whole minutes thing, it's obviously a problem, but the beautiful thing about the playoffs is you don't play any back-to-backs. So that should help. And we know in the first round they extend that damn first round. Like the first round takes almost an entire month. I mean, you got teams playing one day, and they get 3 days off and play on that fourth day. It's freaking stupid. So I think that will help the Timberwolves. But ultimately, I do believe that the Houston Rockets will win this series. I keep going back and forth 6 to 7 games. I think this is going to be a war, a real battle, because you got great players on both teams. I think this goes 7, actually. Call me crazy. And I like Thibodeau as a coach, and we know this. And Byron's going to hate this guy. But Gonzo, you know this too. When D'Antoni's forced to make adjustments, sometimes his team struggle, right? D'Antoni ain't the greatest. He's not the greatest when it comes to making adjustments. And if Thibodeau can make him make adjustments, that's what you got to do with the Rockets team. Now, obviously, it's easier said than done because one thing they have this year that they didn't have last year, they got Chris Paul. And as we all know, the Rockets at all times have a Hall of Fame point guard on the floor for an entire 48 minutes. No team in the NBA can do that. Harden comes out. Chris Paul's the point guard. Chris Paul's out of the game. James Harden's the point guard. How do you defend that, Gonzo?
I mean, you can't. I mean, they're two superstar guards. I mean, it's just I think that's the beauty of the offense. That I didn't think that those two could work together, but I mean, those two came together and got the best record in basketball. It shows you that leadership, toughness, and you got two guys that are skilled. They can make each other better, and they can propel the team. So,
and they're both we didn't know how they were going to gel, and it seemed like an instantaneous. It just seemed like an instantaneous gelling between the two of them. They didn't take long to adjust at all. And nobody wants any smoke with that backcourt. It's the best backcourt in the NBA.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. I think that Gonzo, do you agree? Is that a better backcourt than Curry and Klay Thompson? Mind you, when everybody's healthy.
I mean,
have the best backcourt.
You would have to say, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why, because Chris Paul is pretty much unguardable. James is unguardable. They both can get buckets whenever they want, and this is on the ball, off the ball. The bad part about Klay and Steph is that Klay's streaky. You know Steph's gonna get his. They both can pass. Steph is an average defender, but we're not even talking about defense. We're talking about the scoring part. Klay can, when Klay's hot, he's good. But Klay has some games where he's not too good.
Mm-hmm.
So he's streaky. So I would have to give the edge to Harden and Paul.
Okay. We'll get there once. I'm pretty sure everybody's conference final will probably be the same, so we'll get to talk about that more. Dang, Pete hasn't jumped in yet. He should be here soon. We'll go back to him for this one. But now we're going to go to our second playoff matchup in the West. We got the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Utah Jazz. Gonzo, how do you see this one playing out?
I think that Oklahoma is more talented, but this is where I think we're going to see when Russell Westbrook goes wrong. I think Utah will probably pull it out in 6 games.
Okay. Very good. Byron, how do you see this Oklahoma City Utah Jazz series going? OKC does have the home court.
Yeah, I see the NBA allowing them to advance. like they allow them to beat the Rockets.
Here comes the conspiracy theory.
I'm sorry. I just it's more lucrative to have them advance. I'm not a believer in that team. I'm sorry.
So are they going to beat Utah though in the first round?
I'm just gonna, because I just want to see that team lose, and I just have grown to despise Russell Westbrook. I'm gonna go for the Jazz.
Wow. How many games do you think it goes?
I think that one goes 7.
Okay. So you think Utah is going to win a game 7 on OKC's floor?
Yeah.
I like it. I actually think this series goes 5 or 6, and I think OKC wins it. I think the home court advantage was huge. This was the one team all year that OKC, of the good teams, they had some success against. Obviously they win the tiebreaker, but I think what Russell Westbrook's going to be too much for Ricky Rubio. Donovan Mitchell I think he's going to be good, but we'll see. I think he'll be good. But I think Paul George is really going to step it up. Hopefully we get something out of Carmelo Anthony, because I asked you this earlier about Crawford. Now I got to ask you this about Carmelo, Gonzo. Is Carmelo Anthony washed?
Hello?
Yeah. Is Carmelo Anthony washed?
Absolutely. He can stick a fork in it. It's over. It's well done.
Oh, it's Pete Toll.
I think they should let him play with his hoodie on.
Pete, I'm going to you. I'm going to give you 2 series here, because we just finished up we just got done with but our first one we did Rockets and Timberwolves. How's it go? How's that one going to go, Pete?
Man, so the Rockets, man, they're no joke, and you have to look at the series for what it is. If the Timberwolves could, if it came down to a deciding game of the season and they had to play the Denver Nuggets and they narrowly beat the Nuggets, what do you think is going to happen against Houston? They're going to get blown out. It's going to be 4-0 Rockets.
Damn.
There's no way that you can tell me that this Timberwolves team is going to be able to put up a fight. They have the second worst defensive field goal percentage of any NBA team. And then the Rockets scoring prowess. I mean, come on. You have Andrew Wiggins, who doesn't even show up, in games. Jimmy Butler's coming off a major injury. And so that puts all of the weight on Karl Anthony Towns. So looking at Towns, he's horrible defensively. How is he going to stop the pick and roll of Clint Capella? So, I mean, it's
and here I am picking, and I just picked this one to go 7 games.
Are you kidding me? What?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
man, you're
Hey,
so
but,
high on
that
the
was the
Timberwolves
same.
from
That was
last
the
year.
same. That was the same reaction you gave me during our Philadelphia 76ers preview, which we're gonna get to when we get to the Sixers. Pete.
Oh yeah, we are.
We're gonna get to that. Now, what about OKC and Utah?
Okay, so with OKC, I think you're gonna the difference here is Carmelo Anthony has been bad this season. I think with Carmelo Anthony, you're going to see him maybe even be relegated to the bench if things don't start out well for him. No Andre Roberson, so you have nobody you can really throw out with a top defensive, prowess outside of Paul George against Donovan Mitchell. Ricky Rubio's scoring has been up this season, and then you have Rudy Gobert on the defensive end for Utah, just kind of anchoring, a really high level defense. So Utah is going to end up winning this one. I'm going to say it's 4-2 Utah. I think Westbrook, goes crazy one game, wills them a win, and I think Paul George steps up in a second game and kind of wills them to a win. But you're going to see way too many mistakes by Westbrook, out of control late in games, and Utah is going to put the clamps down.
And he won't pass to Paul George down the stretch.
Exactly, and Paul George is going to run, not walk. He's going to run out of OKC at the end of this series.
I don't think he's too. He's not invested, man. He's going to LA, so I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where I have him going. But it's funny. It's funny because he's answered quotes saying that, I really like it here and all that. But I mean, then you gotta look at, kind of look at Russell Westbrook sideways, kind of like Oladipo, like, all right, you held me down, and people were calling me a scrub, and I go to Indiana, and now I mean, I'm pretty confident in saying that Oladipo should be getting the most improved award. I mean,
that's who we all. It was unanimous with all of us.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Way to jump in there, Pete, and get through that. All right, I'm going to you first for this next matchup, Gonzo. We got the Portland Trailblazers and the New Orleans Pelicans. Gonzo, who do you got for this one?
I love CJ McCollum and I love Damian Lillard, but I think Rondo, Drew Holiday, and Anthony Davis will win in 5.
Oh, wow, 5 games. That's interesting.
And I think it's the Rondo factor. I think, honestly, let's be honest. If Rondo didn't get hurt in that Boston series last year with the Bulls beat Boston easily. I think Rondo's ability to direct people out on defense, his facilitating, getting people in the right place, and just him and Anthony Davis look real lethal, like together. Like they look really, really nice. I think he raises the level of defensive play for the Pelicans. I think Portland. I think they will. I think that he can. Rondo can help New Orleans exploit the Trailblazers.
Okay. Byron, how do you see this one going?
Wow. This one, man. Woo! The way Anthony Davis has been playing, it's like there's just no answer for that guy, man. I think they can beat Portland. I don't know. I don't know how many games. Because the Trailblazers still have an excellent backcourt. They're not so good at closing out all the time. I'm gonna.
Are you going New Orleans?
I think I'm gonna have to go New Orleans, man.
Okay. Pete.
See, I'm gonna have to be the opposite because I think it's gonna be close, but I think Portland pulls it out. I think you're going to have games where you see like Nico Mirotic. I think he's going to go off because you can spread the floor. You'll have each one more, score a little bit. Drew Holiday score a little bit. Obviously, Anthony Davis dominating. And then Emeka Okafor, not many people realize he was out of the NBA for 5 years, and then he comes back. And I mean, he's kind of been anchoring that defense with Cousins out. So I think that holds him in it. But I think the deciding factor is going to be Jusuf Nurkic being able to, if he can, hold Anthony Davis, to, a couple games of 25, 26 points, and then put up, 12 and 8, 14 and 10, on his own, then I think that's going to be the deciding factor. And then you also have to look at Evan Turner's ability to facilitate, kind of play that ball handling role that put CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard off the ball to be able to score at will. And I think that's going to be a little bit too much for Portland, who doesn't have a lot of, for New Orleans, who does not have a lot of depth behind Anthony Davis, Rondo, and Holiday and Mirotic.
Okay. I don't know why, but I'm taking the Pelicans. I think they're going to win. I got the Pelicans in 6. I like what Nico can do for them. Obviously, Anthony Davis is a load. He's going to do whatever he wants. I mean, Nurkic will have his moments where he'll have the good defensive. But at the end, you're not stopping Anthony Davis. He's going to do what he wants. Like Gonzo said, I like the Rondo factor. And, gosh, I haven't been a fan of Rondo in a while. But, man. And then I like Eton more as well. And those guys, so I think they're gonna. I think I got New Orleans in 6 in this one. I could be totally wrong, and Pete's the one who's correct on this panel. Then I have to apologize to Pete.
Hey, let's get that apology.
No, we're gonna get there, Byron. We're gonna get there, Byron. All right, so we got our final first round matchup in the Western Conference. I'm gonna go to you, Pete. Golden State versus San Antonio.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say I've got the Warriors winning 4-1. I think that no Kawhi Leonard obviously is a huge loss for the Spurs. Obviously, not having Steph Curry on the Warriors hurts a little bit, but, I mean, come on. You got Clay, you got Draymond, you've got Kevin Durant. That should be enough to get by the Spurs. Now, the Spurs only won 47 games, but they're no slouch team. The only question mark I have or the biggest question mark I have for the Spurs is what kind of game is LaMarcus Aldridge going to bring? Is he going to bring that, 28 and 10, 12 rebounds, or is he going to bring the 18, points, 6 rebound type game and get dominated defensively by Draymond Green?
And disappear like he did last year. Right.
I think that you're going to see Manu Ginobili, you're going to see Rudy Gay. Those guys help pitch in, and that's going to get that one win for the Spurs.
Okay. Gonzo, who do you got?
I got Golden State winning. I'm gonna say 6 games with the possibility of it ending in 5. I'm only saying 6 games because I believe that Pop's coaching alone can squeak out 2 games, but Golden State definitely.
Okay. Good point. The Popovich factor is always important.
Yeah.
Byron. Who do you got? Because this is the one team, Byron, you told me last week Golden State didn't want to see San Antonio.
And we know you hate Golden State, so don't come at us with no 4-0 Spurs either.
I grew up despising the Spurs too, so I'm not a fan.
Okay.
Who you got, Byron?
But here's what I think, and I'm not trying to speak something into existence or speak a curse or anything like this.
Here it comes.
But honestly, I've had this feeling that I think another key player for the Warriors is going to go down.
Byron's been saying this all year. He's been saying it all year.
I think Durant is going to go down in this series, and I don't know why. He just seems really fragile as of late, and I think that if somebody else goes down on that team, they're going to lose in the first round.
Wow.
And I that's what I don't know. I've been feeling like somebody's
he's going to go down early in the
right. And the reason why I say this too is because not so much with the team. Anytime you have a super team that has consecutive appearances in the finals, they're playing so much more than let's say the Wizards or the average NBA team that doesn't go deep into the playoffs or doesn't even make it. They're playing almost year round. When you go back and you look at it, they're playing for such a long time. They're not getting the break that everybody's getting and the wear and tear that it has on their body. So I really don't see this team advancing to the finals again this year. And
are they going to get beat in the first round, though?
I'd love to see it.
I know you'd love to see it, but are they going to get – what's your prediction, though? Don't take the easy way out.
I think that this is what I think. Somebody's going to go down in this series for the Warriors.
The Spurs are going to win.
And it's going to cause the Spurs to win.
Okay, Byron's picked the San Antonio Spurs due to injury.
Hey, we're all going to have to eat crow if that happens.
We're all going to be apologizing to Byron.
Now, listen, I'm not prophesying, injury or harm or anything like that, but I'm just saying, they've been pretty fragile as of late, and I don't think
their whole team's been hurt all year.
Right, and I feel that it's going to be the same thing. I think I just see somebody going, and given the injury that Durant is coming off of, all it's going to take is one little. You're right. All it's going to take is one. He's pretty fragile. All it's going to take is one little bump, one little elbow.
He's going down, right?
Right. I just, and it might not be Durant. It could be Klay Thompson. It could be Draymond Green. But I just think that this. What I'm trying to say is that, given
they're not going to get out of the first round, is what Byron's saying.
Well, here's what
they're
going
to get got.
Well, let me speak for myself. I think that the team is going to succumb to injuries, whether this round or the next one.
Okay.
I'm going to pick San Antonio.
Okay. I like it. Byron just came with the heat. That's what we're here for. I got Golden State in. Actually, I'll say 5. I think Pop will coach them to a win.
Yeah, that's it.
I got Golden State. I mean, there's not really much to say. I know Golden State went 7-10 this down that stretch there. The 7 with Durant, playing Curry. I get that. They're coasting. They had absolutely nothing to play for ever since they lost that third game to the third game of the season series to the Rockets and lost 2-1. They knew they weren't going to win the first seed, and they just coasted the rest of the year. We saw LeBron and the Cavs doing. They still marched through the Eastern Conference last year. Golden State's going to win this series. They'll be fine. Quinn Cook's been fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, he's going to be the fill-in for the first round because Curry's out the entire series.
He's been really good. So I like that. But now we're going to go to the Eastern Conference. And our first matchup is the Washington Wizards and the Toronto Raptors. Byron, who do you got in this one?
Come on, T-Dot, man.
Sexy.
Are you kidding me? Toronto, man.
Okay. How many games do you think it goes? Can Washington get a couple?
No, they won't get a couple. If they're lucky, they'll get one.
Okay. Damn. Pete, are you with Byron?
Oh, as far as Toronto, this is the interesting matchup for me because I feel like Toronto has the best bench, as far as net rating. It's 8.3 in the league. So, obviously they count on the bench. But then you've got John Wall on the other side. If John Wall can stay healthy, they can get anything out of their bench, out of Oubre, Mahinmi, and then anything out of Satoransky. Coming off the bench, I think, the Wizards can make it a series. I think Toronto ends up getting this one. It ends up going 6 games, and Toronto wins it. I think, Bradley Beal shooting, and then, John Wall, in transition ends up being a little bit, too much in 2 of the games. But then Toronto kind of turns it on. They go to Valanciunas. DeRozan has a, monster game. Lowry shows up a game or 2, and then they pull it out.
Okay, I'm with you there. Gonzo.
I got a 7-game series going.
Nice.
I got the Wizards pulling it out. Let me tell you something.
Ooh.
Lowry and DeRozan in the playoffs. Honestly, I've seen a better 2-piece combo at Popeye's Chicken. I mean,
that's tough.
That is so disrespectful.
DeRozan hasn't been that bad. Lowry, yes.
Let's be honest. Like, they went 7 games with the Bucks who couldn't shoot worth a lick last year. Right? That is not encouraging. I don't care what the regular season record looks like. Every year, Toronto's up there in the top 1, 2, 3 seeds. But what do? They always crap out. So I think John Wall and them have a little more toughness. I think they have enough experience to beat out Toronto. I mean, I'm just not sold on Toronto. I mean,
I get it.
Drake is their mascot. Come on.
Oh damn.
Oh wow.
I mean, let's be honest. So I'm going with the Wizards.
Nice. I got Toronto I got Toronto in 6. I think the bench will be the difference in this one. I mean, I think DeRozan's fine, and if Lowry has 2 or 3 good games, it's definitely over because he's the one who's really wet the bed in the playoffs. DeRozan last year was pretty good. He turned it around last year and stepped up, but Lowry we'll see. And everybody knows I love Van Vliet off the bench. I like Anunoby in the starting lineup. Wright's been really good off the bench. Jakob Portal. Siakam. These guys
Miles too.
Yeah, these guys can really play, so I like them in 6. I think the bench will be the difference. All right, we're going to go to our second Eastern Conference matchup, and I'm going to go to you, Gonzo. Cleveland and Indiana.
I got Cleveland in 5. Just because
Very good.
LeBron James is like undefeated like in first round series, so I think Indiana has enough talent to get a game, but ultimately Cleveland.
Got it. Pete, how do you see this one going?
I actually have it for 2 Cavs. I think Oladipo and Miles Turner will combine, for one good game, and then Oladipo, Bogdanovich, and Thad Young will kind of pull out another game because the Cavs have been historically bad this season. But it's ultimately LeBron James. You'll have a resurge and healthy Kevin Love. So I think that's just going to be too much, with the playoff experience for the Pacers to handle.
All right, nice. Byron, how do you see this one going? Cleveland and the Pacers.
I'm going Cleveland. I think, I think maybe like 5-6 games Cleveland. LeBron is salivating because he knows that Kyrie is injured and that Boston doesn't stand a chance as far as the finals. And also, he knows that it's going to be, even though the guys they don't have the experience that his former teammates had, he knows it's going to be an easy road to the finals. So I think they're going to try to put this team away quick, so they can get some rest.
I don't know about that easy road to the finals. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going Cleveland.
You let Gonzo tell it. If Washington is going to beat Toronto in Gonzo's universe, yes.
Hey, I also got the Cavs, and I'm with the Cavs in 5. I think it could go 6. I could see it happening, but I just think playoff LeBron is a completely different animal, and he's gonna lead them 5 games. They've showed in some of these close games recently they can get some stops, they can do some things. No, they're not great defensively, but I think they'll get Indiana in 5. Now, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. The third matchup in the Eastern Conference. Pete Toll, I'm coming to you. I know you have something to say before you get into it, too. Number 3, Philadelphia 76ers versus
all right, first of all, there was no way in hell that I was ever going to say that the Sixers, and I'm the diehard Sixers guy, that the Sixers were 3rd overall. But I have to eat crow on this one because Matt predicted long ago, and I called him nuts, that the Sixers were going to finish right in the 3rd spot, and they sure did. Matt has been behind the Sixers all season. We text back and forth, all the time, and he's always like, "Hey, did you catch this play by Simmons? Did you catch this by Embiid? Reddick's going off, things like that." And really, really been behind him. I can't put him in Sixers Nation because he's not born.
No, I'm not.
In Philly.
No, you can't put me there. No.
But I have to give him props because he's the only one out of all of us that even remotely thought that Philly would sniff above 5
I remember because I rewatched the segment. Brady was just stunned. He was speechless at the time really dumb pick.
Yeah.
Pete, when I said it, Pete was like, "Jesus Christ!"
Yeah.
And then James was like, he has to call the authorities on me.
Yeah, it was bold. I'll be honest. I had the Sixers topping out about 43 games, and they would fall somewhere in 5th or 6th. I thought teams, like Charlotte, Detroit, they would have been better this season. But with Philly, a lot of people that aren't Sixers fans, really kind of got behind them with that 16-game winning streak. But I was still cautiously optimistic because out of those 16 games, only 3 of those teams are playoff teams.
Although
currently.
the Denver win was good though because they did win 46 games.
Yeah, I
So
mean
that was a good win.
Yeah, I mean you could look at it. The thing that I'm looking for out of the Sixers, they're young. So are they going to be able to propel forward, if they have to face any kind of adversity?
Yes.
And then if Embiid doesn't play right away, what does that do, as far as the Hassan Whiteside matchup? Because that's the key matchup for me is Whiteside versus Embiid. I think the key player for Philly is still going to be Ben Simmons and what he's able to do, controlling the ball, in the offense around. But I think, Philly ends up taking this one. It's going to be 4-1. Sorry, Alana, I know you're the Heat person, and you're behind them, but I just don't think that Miami can score well enough, to end up taking more than a game. I think Dragic, in her defense, I think Dragic goes off one game, and that's how they get a win. But
Alana did say that she did not want the Heat to finish 6th. She saw the matchup. Gonzo, how does this one go? Miami and Pete's Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers and 6.
Oh, okay. Nice. Byron.
Sixers hands down.
Yeah, but how many games?
Man. Will Embiid be back for this?
He'll be back. He'll be back.
He may miss a game, but that's
he'll
about
be back
it.
by game. I think he'll be back by game 2 because game 2 I don't think it's till like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, so he should be fine.
I think Miami might get 1.
Okay, yeah. I'm with you there. I think Miami gets 1. They'll get 1 in Miami. It's a very tough place to play. They play really hard. They'll slow the game down. Good defensively. So it's supposed to, they're well coached with Spo. So they'll get a game. The combination of Dragic, James Johnson, Ellington making 3, Spo the coach. They'll get a game, but it's going to be Philly in 5. They're loaded. Even without Embiid, I mean, they got shooters everywhere. They're great defensively. Mm-hmm. They're well coached, very well coached. I think it's going to be too much in the end for Miami. And to our final matchup in the Eastern Conference, we have the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. Gonzo, what's going to happen in this series? Milwaukee and Boston.
Milwaukee and Boston. I'm going to say Milwaukee in 6.
Okay, I like that pick, actually. I like it. Byron, Boston and Milwaukee. Now, remember, Kyrie's out. There is no Kyrie Irving and there's no Marcus Smart.
You know what, man? I think it's going to be a longer series than we expect, man.
Are you saying 7 games, Byron?
I'm going to give it 6 or 7 games.
Okay.
And
who wins?
Man, you know what? I'm going to go with Boston, man.
Okay. Byron, yes. We got a Boston pick. That's actually an unpopular pick right now. Pete.
I'm going with the Boston Celtics. And the reason I say the Celtics, I think Jaylen Brown, he feeds off of the last 9 games of the season in which he averaged 17 points a game on 57% shooting from 3. I think he ends up keeping his aggressiveness as far as looking for his shot. Then you also have Jason Tatum, who comes behind him, proves that he's above the rookie mantra and kind of plays above himself, propels them past Milwaukee. Because Milwaukee, outside of Giannis, they have trouble scoring. I know Bledsoe's on the team, it can help there, but they haven't shown a lot, to end the season, especially the last month and a half.
And Parker's not exactly right just yet.
Well, and Parker's coming off the bench. He'll match up probably with Marcus Morris, and he's going to be out to prove a contract because obviously he wants to make the most money he can. But I actually have the Celtics beating the Bucks 4-1.
Wow.
I just don't think that the Bucks have enough to even with the Celtics being shorthanded. I think Terry Rozier is going to have a good offensive night, some games. So they're going to be able to piece together, some wins. And I can't ever count out Brad Stevens out coaching anyone. So
I'm actually with Gonzo. I think the Bucks get it in 6.
Wow.
My reasoning for this is actually quite simple. They're going to have the best player on the floor. And you could make the argument maybe that they have the 2 best players on the floor. If Middleton can be that guy, and he's good, 20 points a game, good defensively, 37% from 3 this year. He's a better shooter than that, but he has to take more shots with all that low responsibility offensively now this year with Parker missing a lot of the season. That's what Giannis is the one that puts them over the top. And I know, Pete, you'll agree, they can be very undisciplined.
Right, correct.
Very undisciplined, and that scares me. But I just think Giannis is going to be way too much. And I'm going to guess Jaylen Brown will probably initially check him, right?
That would be my guess.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a really tough matchup for him, which could hurt Jaylen Brown on the offensive end, having to expend so much energy, guarding Antetokounmpo. I could be wrong, and I love Jaylen Brown, thanks to Byron. Yes, Byron, I gave you props for that one. He's the one who put me on to Jaylen Brown. He did.
And I like
He's nice.
Him and Tatum together, their energy, man. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to – I don't care that they're young. I could care less about that. Because, hell, I picked Philly 3rd. So that show – and Pete even said I love young players.
Right.
So I'm not even going to bring that up. That's null and void. Who cares? They're too young to know any better. But I'm still going Milwaukee in 6. Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's my reason why. So we're going to go back to the second round now in the West. So, Pete, I'm going to go to you first.
Yep.
You had the Rockets and the Jazz both winning. So how do you see the Rockets and Jazz going?
So even though the Jazz are the top defensive team going against the Rockets, obviously high scoring, I just don't know that the Jazz really can do anything against, to stop James Harden, Chris Paul, Clint Capella. I'll give the Jazz one game because I think that, with the Rockets, I think, they might coast to, a 3-0, leading the series and, maybe take a game off and try to coast a little bit. So that'll get Utah, a win because I think that Donovan Mitchell's out to prove, that little back and forth debate with Ben Simmons. Yeah. I think he's out to prove himself even more.
The rookie hoodie.
Yeah. So, and I really like Donovan Mitchell a lot. So I'm going to give Utah one game, but ultimately they can't get past Houston.
Nice. Gonzo, I believe you had the Rockets and the Jazz, correct? For the second round.
Absolutely.
How do you see this one going?
Rockets and Jazz?
Yeah.
Rockets sweep.
Oh, there we go. I'm not shocked that it could happen because the Jazz really didn't play against them well during the season. So, good stuff. Byron, you had the Rockets and the Jazz also.
He's picking the Rockets.
Oh, yeah. I think we just go on to the next.
All right, we'll just
go on to the finals for Byron.
Yeah, I'll just go to my pick. I had Rockets and OKC once again. 7-game series.
No freaking way. What? All right, I'll get. All right.
Yes, all right. Rockets in 7. They got screwed in their bracket.
Yeah, I can't call you crazy after the Sixers finished third. So.
And even when the Sixers were 34-30, I was still texting Pete. They're still going to get third. Yeah, I never wavered from it. I'm sticking to it. The Rockets are going to win the series, but they're going to get pushed. And I feel bad for the Rockets. They earned the number 1 seed, and the Warriors got a cakewalk. The Warriors are the one that got a cakewalk to the conference finals. That's
two of their star players had a cakewalk life with their NBA dads. But
God, here we go. Here comes the Golden State hate. We'll get to them in a minute. Now we're going to go to our second matchup. Gonzo, Golden State. It would be Golden State. You had Golden State versus the Pelicans. How do you see that one going?
6 games, Golden State.
Oh, he's giving the Pelicans 2. Nice. Okay, I like that. And Steph should be back by the second round. So he should be back by then, but we don't know how right he's going to be. Byron, you had the Spurs, and Byron, you had the Blazers or the Pelicans? He did pick. I thought so. Byron, Pelicans and the Spurs. Who do you like?
I'm thinking Pelicans.
Oh, wow. Byron's got the Pelicans in the conference finals. I like it. Yes. First bold prediction of the day. Kind of the Spurs over the Warriors, too. But yeah, Yeah. I had Warriors and Pelicans. I'm going Warriors in 5. Curry's going to be back. They'll win in 5. Hell, it might even be a sweep. And the Warriors will coast into the conference finals against the Houston Rockets. Now to the East. The first matchup, I'm going to you, Byron. You have the Toronto Raptors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, Byron. How's that one going?
I'm going to have to give it to Cleveland.
Yes. All right, Gonzo. We're back in Gonzo's world, where in his world the Wizards are going to go to the second round and play the Cleveland Cavaliers. How's this one going, Gonzo? Wizards and Cavs.
Cavs in 6.
Okay. Yes. Pete, Raptors and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
All right, this is where my boldness comes in. I got the Raptors winning in 7.
Okay. I can't argue with that one.
And the reason I say that is because I think that you're going to see J.R. Smith falter. You're going to see Tristan Thompson falter. You're going to see George Hill falter.
I mean, Rodney I don't know because you saw. Tristan Thompson's relationship with Chloe might end up being over, so that may actually help the Cavs.
I'm about to say,
Cavs to the conference. The curse is broken.
He faltered when he aligned himself with the. Never mind.
Hey, he had two women in October and one like last week, so I think he's well worked himself away from Khloe Kardashian. Yeah. I don't think it helped him any.
He's not focused, man. That guy's never been focused.
No.
I've got Cleveland over Toronto in. I'm going to say 6. I'll go 6.
Okay.
I'm close to 5. I just think they own Toronto, and we know that fraudulent player that is Kyle Lowry, but I'm going to hold that for another day. So I'm going Cleveland in 6. Okay, Pete Toll. Yep. Your Philadelphia 76ers against the injured Boston Celtics. How's that one going?
My Sixers are going to advance against the Celtics. It's going to be 6 games, but I think the combo of Embiid and Simmons, perimeter shooting of Redick, Bellinelli, and Ilyasova is just going to be a little bit too much for the Celtics, and they don't have Kyrie Irving going against to make up for that scoring gap. And you're going to see Markelle Fultz have. I don't know if it's going to be. I'm not going to go out and say he's going to have a great series, but I think he's going to have 2 solid games where he puts up a solid double-double.
So he's going to put his imprint on the series.
Yes, I think he is.
Yes, absolutely. Byron, the Philadelphia 76ers against the Boston Celtics, because you picked Boston.
I say Philly wins in 5.
Okay. Nice. All right, Gonzo. Philadelphia versus the Milwaukee Bucks.
Philly in 5.
Nice. I'm with you there. I had the Bucks against the Sixers. Philly in 5. They're rolling. All right, now we're going to go to our conference finals matchups. First, the West. Byron, the Houston Rockets versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Can I just go to Gonzo?
You might as well.
All right, let's say, okay, let me say this because I know they're about to crucify me. But let's say the Warriors don't succumb to injuries and they advance.
And they do. Okay, here we go. Right. Yeah, here we go.
Right, because that's what everybody really wants to hear.
So I like what Byron's doing here. He's playing both sides of the fence, though.
Rockets and 6.
Okay.
I was going to say Rockets beat Warriors in 6. Okay.
What if it's Rockets and Pelicans, though? Which was what your pick really was.
Oh, Rockets in 5. In 5.
Okay. He's going to give New Orleans 1. That's
yeah. I guess Anthony Davis will will them to 1 game.
Pete Toll, Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors.
All right. So this is kind of where I think that the injuries for the season will wear down on the Warriors. I think they lose in 7 to the Rockets. I think in that 7th game, Eric Gordon goes off for 20+. And I think you're going to see James Harden put up 40+ in that game.
Nice.
And will them to a narrow win somewhere in the, 110, 115 range, to like 107, something like that. Very close game. But the Warriors they don't have enough this year.
Got it.
Let me ask you a question, Pete. Is James Harden your MVP?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, for me, it's Harden, LeBron and Anthony Davis. I can't even put anybody else in the discussion other than really James Harden's like way up here, and like LeBron is like, you know, kind of like, you know, huge gap.
Yeah.
But somehow OKC fans will throw Westbrook in there, and somehow he'll be, you know,
he'll end up in the top 3.
You went on earlier. We talked about them smoking hay in the middle of the bar.
Oh man.
But you know, the conflict gets so crucial.
You know what's crazy, Pete? Hey, Pete, let me ask you this about Westbrook. If he doesn't average a triple-double last year, is he the MVP? Does he win it last year? If he didn't average a triple-double.
I'll say he shouldn't have won it, and he averaged a triple-double. James Harden should have had it last year. So
I actually kind of wavered from that. I know I said Harden. I probably would have gave it to Kawhi.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like,
because it wins.
Like, he just takes bad shots at the end of games. I mean, you could say – I'm not even going to get into the stat padding argument because, I mean,
it is what
you want about it. Everybody has a different opinion. But for me, at the end of games, I want somebody that can close the games, not take bad, awful shots that, you know, a middle schooler knows not to take. You know? I mean, I'm sorry, but, you know, and I know James Harden didn't close the year great last year, but that was the playoffs. That didn't count into the MVP discussion. So
yeah, exactly. I'm going to you now, Gonzo. Golden State and the Houston Rockets. How's this one going, Gonzo?
Now, see, my thing is this is where it comes down to coaching. D'Antoni has always had kryptonite in the playoffs. And the coach that's made the most adjustments against him has always been Greg Popovich, who's been his kryptonite. Now, with that being said, Steve Kerr is Greg Popovich's protege.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you'll experience the same thing. Ultimately, I would like to see Houston win a championship, but I think Golden State will win in 6.
Okay. All right. Byron, you're going to be happy with me here. And it's only because of the injuries. I don't know where Steph's going to be.
Yeah,
Durant's banged up. I think the injuries, even though the Rockets, I have them getting pushed to 7 games, I think that's actually going to make them stronger. And it's going to, you know, they're going to have to fight. They're going to have to earn to get it. And they're going to they will ultimately beat Golden State in 7 games. Nice. I believe it's going to happen, Byron. I'm sticking with it. Now, when I saw the Rockets matchup, it made me think a little bit like, gosh, the way the side of the bracket they're on, it made me waver, and I was almost leaning towards Golden State, but I'm going to go Rockets. I'm going to say it, Byron. I'm not a hater. There you go.
Well, can I tell y'all something real quick?
Here it comes.
I saw something. No, I saw something very interesting on Twitter this morning, and it was just compared. It was a comparison between the '94 Rockets team right before the playoffs and this Rockets team.
There's no comparison.
And here's the similarities. Well, there's no Hakeem Olajuwon, so okay.
No, and it was Hakeem and a bunch of bums.
Well, here's the comparisons. They both are under new ownership.
Otis Thorpe was the second best player.
They're both under new ownership, right?
Yeah.
They both had a red hot start. The Rockets 94 started 22-1. This team started 25-4. They both had franchise best record with 58 wins and then 65 wins. Both have the league MVP. We're assuming Harden is going to win. Both had a home court advantage in every round. And they both lost a key reserve forward to a shoulder injury in the playoffs. Carl Herrera in 94.
Amigo.
Big Amigo. And then Bamute this year. Will we win they won the title. Are they going to win it again?
We're going to find out. We're going to find out when we get to your finals pick, Byron. We're not there yet. We got to go to the Eastern Conference.
Hold on, man. I have to interject because I wanted to wait till Byron was done. I can't let you call my guy Vernon Maxwell a bum, regardless of.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you.
Regardless of the roster that Houston had, yes, it wasn't the greatest roster.
That's what I was getting at. I know Maxwell wasn't a bum. That was Michael Jordan.
And then you had Robert Horry on there as well. I mean, and Kenny Smith, I know he's not technically.
But look at that team was not exactly it was Hakeem and a bunch of good role players.
I mean, and I've heard people make the argument if John Starks would have hit shots and everything like that would have been.
Well, of course, if he would have, could have, should have, he didn't make shots, so they lost.
And then you got the Michael Jordan. If he would have been in the NBA, they would have made it. But I'm giving the Rockets due. They won it back to back. Not many teams can do that. So
the Rockets earned it.
I'm not going to call them bums.
But I'm going back to you, Pete. The Toronto Raptors and your Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay, everybody knows I'm the Sixers guy, but I can't do it, Matt. I can't put my Sixers. I can't put my Sixers in the finals. I think the inexperience is going to catch up to him, and I think you're going to see Joel Embiid go down, not with a major injury, but he's going to leave a game, say game 2 or 3. That's going to kind of give the momentum to Toronto, and I think their bench scoring is going to be just a little bit too much. DeRozan's, going to kind of propel them.
Philly bench is nice season. Now.
They are, but I just think that I can't quite say this year. I think going forward, like I told you, by 2020, I think they'll have a championship. But I don't know that this year they have enough experience to push themselves to the finals. Over an upper echelon team. And like I said, I barely have Toronto beating Cleveland. For all we know, LeBron could, propel his way all the way to the finals. We don't know.
Yeah. Gonzo, Cleveland Cavaliers and the Philadelphia 76ers.
See, I don't really believe in all this playoff experience. I'm going to tell you what I believe in.
Neither do I.
I believe in refs trending in a certain direction. Like, I'm gonna give you an example.
Here we go, conspiracy theories coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna give you an example. Everybody wanted to see a Golden State Cleveland Cavaliers final,
and we got it.
But getting to a point now where the fans kind of don't want to see it anymore. We get tired of things quick now. I think honestly, we're gonna see Philadelphia 76ers. They're gonna beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in 5 games.
Yes.
Finals.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Byron,
like
Cleveland versus Philly.
Man, it's
I wanted to add something real quick too.
Go ahead, Gonzo.
I wanted not to cut you off. I want to add something real quick too. Trust me, I would much rather party in Philly than Cleveland.
Yeah, you're right about that.
All right, Byron, Philly and the Cavs.
Now, honestly,
say it.
I would. Philadelphia, man. I want to see Philly in it, man. I'm going Philly.
Yes.
I don't want. I do not want to see LeBron in the finals again. He was in very far.
Who are you picking, though?
He's gonna lose again. He would lose again, man. He's not.
Byron,
not
I don't give a damn if you don't want to see LeBron in the finals. Who are you picking? Seriously, Philly.
I said Philadelphia. I'm picking Philadelphia.
I'm going to make it 3 out of 4. Philadelphia 76ers in 6 games. They are going to the NBA Finals, Pete Toll. I'm on board.
Hey, if they do, man, I'll be the first one again to say, the panel, everybody picked it but me, that, I just don't know. I just don't.
But what, Pete?
Just like it to the last minute of the, because, I was watching the Super Bowl with a bunch of friends, and I kept saying in my mind, I'm like, okay, if Tom Brady gets that ball, they have a chance. I'm not, because everybody's like, it's over, and I'm like, I'm very optimistic.
And Tom Brady had the ball.
Yeah, I know. I don't like to jinx it. I literally couldn't have been more happier.
I'm not the Sixers fan, so I can do it.
I've
been I'm on the bandwagon. I'm on the train.
I would love to see it more than anything, because all I need is a Flyers, Stanley Cup win in my lifetime. But and when it comes to the USS Philadelphia 76ers, I'm the captain now. There you go.
Well, here's the thing. I want to say this. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Philly advances to the finals. They're gonna lose to my Rockets.
Okay, Byron just gave his prediction.
But Pete, man, listen to me, man. If the Rockets and the Sixers make it, we both got to be happy for each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, win or lose, we got to be happy.
Byron, how many games, Byron?
But the Astros won last year. I mean, it's just the time for Houston to just. It's our season.
It's also time for Philly, though. I mean, you had the Eagles, you had Villanova.
It's too early.
Philly has so much time. Listen, look at the history of the Rockets. Look how we spanked Orlando. Orlando was a team that I felt like, look, I love Penny and I love Shaq. Just not against my Rockets.
That was Nick Anderson's fault.
Right. They were
Nick Anderson's fault.
They were too young. But here's the thing. We spanked them. And Clyde Drexler got a ring. Hakeem got his second. Clyde got his own ring. He knew Michael Jordan was coming. He was like, let me get this ring now. You know what I mean? And I felt in my heart of hearts, I was like, you know what? It's cool because Orlando is going to be here for years to come. And then Michael Jordan came back with the vengeance, and that was all she wrote. Jerry West did his pimpery, and he got Shaq in L.A. I feel like Philadelphia, the Eastern Conference is going to be theirs for years to come. Granted,
hey, you know what's funny?
Granted that they stay healthy.
And if they get LeBron,
we talk about Michael Jordan robbing players from getting rings, right? He robbed Orlando of a dynasty.
Exactly.
He broke the team up.
He broke all the way up.
He broke a whole team up.
Well, it wasn't just Mike. It was there. You know,
it was Mike.
It was
Mike. It was Mike.
Shaq's ego.
It was Michael Jordan.
Shaq's ego.
It was Michael Jordan.
Shaq's ego too. Because
I'm
willing to bet if Shaq stays,
Michael Jordan,
if Shaq stays,
they don't.
Penny don't get injured. Penny don't get injured, bro. And he was scary nice, man. Scary.
And I don't think Chicago three-peats like that. If they
there's a deal. Michael Jordan doesn't come back. They would have won the title in 95, 96.
Oh,
and Shaq would have never left. Michael ruined that. Michael broke that team up.
They would have beat. If Mike doesn't come back, they would have butchered Seattle, butchered them. But my point is, granted that that this Sixers team stays healthy, they will be a force in the Eastern Conference Finals for years to come. And their only competition there right now, foreseeable, is the Boston Celtics. That's it. Now, here's what I think will happen. If the Rockets win the championship, LeBron will go to Philadelphia. If the Rockets lose the championship, LeBron will go to the Houston Rockets.
Okay.
That's what I think is going to happen because he's going to help his boy CP get a ring. They're going to work something out to get, Carmelo Anthony to the Rockets so he gets one too. And they're going to win and they're going to beat the Warriors. Now, Gonzo, I got a question for you. I'm sorry, man. I'm kind of hijacking this.
That's all right.
You're good.
That's what we do here. Hey, man, that's what we do here.
I apologize. Gonzo, Warriors and 6 against the Rockets. WTF, bro? What's up?
Hey, hey, that's his pick. Don't get it mad. We didn't get mad when you picked Kyle Lowry 11.
But I was right.
At the time, you ended up being right. You ended up being right. Yes.
He did.
Yeah, he probably was the 11th best player in the NBA that year. But Gonzo may be right too. You don't know.
Right.
You don't know that yet. It's his pick. Let him have it. Gonzo.
Gonzo, why? You don't believe in the Rockets, man?
He said why? Because he doesn't believe in D'Antoni.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gonzo, are you there? Gonzo. I'm going to go to you, Pete, then.
Okay.
Toronto and Houston.
It's a sweep for Houston if they play Toronto. Like I said, I think Toronto just has a little bit more experience than Philly right now.
Toronto did beat them twice in the regular season, though, correct?
Houston.
They did beat them both times, I believe.
I think. I think so.
Yeah, they did.
I think it's going to be. I just think it's going to be a sweep. Maybe they get one game. I just don't like Dwayne Casey as a coach as far as adjustments and things like that.
Speaking of that, Coach of the Year, Pete.
Oh, wow!
Say it.
Say it. All right, I got my top 3. So, I gotta put Brad Stevens 3rd. I've got to put Quinn Snyder 2nd, and I've got to put Mike D'Antoni 1st.
What?
Yep.
What? No Brett Brown? Come on, man.
No, I can't. No, I can't put Brett Brown in there.
Come on, he's my me and Byron Brett Brown.
He's actually 4th on the list for me. Just because I feel like what Quinn Snyder was able to do with a Utah team, being basically down and out without Gobert, to get that much out of Donovan Mitchell as a rookie says a lot. D'Antoni being able to piece together that team, kind of change people's perception of not only himself, but CP3 not being able to win and propel James Harden forward. You basically put Clint Capella on the map as one of the top NBA centers now. So I mean that says a lot. And they got a 60+ win season. So I gave him the edge there.
Sixers fans are all going to go after Pete Toll for not picking Brett Brown. I'm going to lead the charge too.
Hey, you can if you want to. I mean, hey, I've been a Sixers fan since I was born in '84.
Hey, so. You know what it is? That's Pete. Hey, Pete, let him know that's your pick.
Hey, it is what it is. I mean, no disrespect to Brett Brown. I just don't think that, his adjustments sometimes, were a little bit questionable. I love him as a guy and just what he's able to do mentorship wise. Just coaching adjustments wise, I don't know.
And I'm not gonna lie, I love the New England accent too.
Yeah, he's got the Australian New England. Yeah.
Yes. Gonzo, are you back with us?
Yes, sir.
NBA Finals, Gonzo. Golden State and Philadelphia.
Golden State and Philadelphia. Now, this is the part where I'm kind of twisted at.
I'm not twisted.
I think Golden State. I think run into Houston, run into all these different tough matchups. Yes, will eventually weigh on them.
He's gonna say it.
I have Philly winning in 7.
Yes.
Wow.
All right. I like it.
And if it turns out that way, I hope Ben Simmons pulls some Magic Johnson type stuff. Like Embiid goes down and Simmons beats him by themselves, and he completely ends that dynasty. And he sends Kevin Durant running somewhere crying.
My next journey. Hey, I'm going to say it. Houston Rockets, Philadelphia 76ers. Pete Toll.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready for the hot take? Philadelphia in 6 over the Houston Rockets.
Wow.
And on that note, gentlemen, I'm leaving. Good night. Good night to all of you.
Too.
I'm so serious. I will never, for the life of me, understand how somebody born in Houston, Texas,
can
hate.
I've seen the Twitter debate.
Can hate the Astros, the Rock.
I don't hate the Astros, Pete. I picked the Astros to get the World Series 3
years
in a row.
Hey, you were behind the Cubs, though.
Let me ask you something.
I'm a Cubs fan.
Pete, let me ask you something, dude.
What's up, man?
If who are you going for in the Super Bowl?
You already know, boy. I was never pick New England. I would never pick New England.
Exactly.
That's his favorite
you live in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Right.
Now, if the Hawks were playing the Sixers and if it were possible for the Hawks,
I didn't like the Hawks since I've been here. The only reason that I go to the Hawks game is because it's the only NBA game I'm able to go to. I mean, I'm not gonna fly. I'm not gonna fly up to Philadelphia to go to there just to go to a game and fly back.
Pete, where am I from, Pete?
You're from Houston. You live in LA.
Right. Do you ever see me talking about the Lakers?
I do.
There's not much to talk about.
Hey, there's a lot to talk about with the Lakers.
Do you ever see me talking about the Clippers or anything like that?
No,
okay,
just the food.
Okay.
Just the food.
Here we go.
Okay, great. Gonzo.
Yes, sir.
Would you if the Bulls made it to the finals against, let's say, the Lakers or the Rockets, who would you root for?
Now I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I'm gonna tell you something, and no offense, and excuse my expression. The way I feel about Gar Foreman, Paxson, and Jerry Reinsdorf, fuck the Bulls.
Wow.
Okay, let's say the Cubs or the Sox or the Bears.
Oh, I'm going White Sox all day.
Okay, are you from the South
That's
Side?
not fair. They're both Chicago teams.
What side?
I'm from the South Side, so
okay.
I mean, I would have to go with the White Sox.
Here's the thing, though. What Byron said. See, Byron.
But I don't hate
I've
the Cubs,
never
though.
been.
But see,
I have
he's
never
gonna pick the Bears too. So,
but my thing is this: raising your hometown. I don't understand how somebody can be born in a city, raised there, and don't give me that because you moved from Chicago when you were like 7. So I don't want to hear none of that.
I started watching sports when I was 6 years old.
It doesn't
and I lived
matter.
in Chicago. How does it not matter? So what you're saying is when I watched sports at 6 years old, I should have been rooting for the Rockets.
Did your parents not tell you where you were born after they moved to Chicago?
Oh my God.
Oh Lord.
Oh my
so
God.
hey, I'll say this.
No
I will
league
say
pass
this.
in 1987.
I will say this. My dad, we moved. My dad moved us down here. It was 85. So, or going into 86 actually. So. My dad adopted the Atlanta franchises as his favorite teams, which I never understood. So I don't get it, but I understand like kind of where you're at now. Like you root for that team. I just couldn't do it because number one, I just never liked the Braves, and Never was a big Hawks fan, and I've always liked the Sixers back. You know, Moses Malone. Then you go to
Here's the
Charles
deal,
Barkley years.
If you would have been
Iverson.
uprooted to Chicago, you'd have been a Bulls fan.
Hell no disrespect to Chicago franchise. I hated Michael Jordan.
Oh wow.
I mean, I respect his game, but I hated it because he always won, and my Sixers could never get past him. You know, in the East, and
you know what though? This is the first time Phillies won 50 games since '89.
But,
89.
But here's the thing: I think you can be a
second time since '89-90. Second time since '89-90.
I don't mind you being a fan because, like, you know, when I got here, everybody's like, "Oh, you always hate on LA." My homie, he went to high school in Houston, but he's from LA. He's like, "Oh, you always hate on LA. You hate on LA teams."
Byron doesn't hate on LA teams.
Well, he says it's Edwin. He's like, "You're so." You hate, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna adopt one LA team, and that's gonna be the Dodgers. Then what happens? They play the Astros. I got the Astros hat on right now. I only wear it indoors because if you know the hood politics out here, it represents the most hated gang, black gang in LA. So it's dangerous to wear it if you go out. So I wear it in my house. It's like, you really thought I was gonna go against my home team? No. If they weren't
deal though,
if they were not playing the Astros, I would have been all for the Dodgers because they originated in Brooklyn, where most of my family lives to this day. So, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's like, it's okay. I'm never going to be a Lakers fan, or if I do adopt one of the basketball teams, it'll maybe be the Clippers. So I understand, like, you can be a fan now, because I know what you're going to say next. Oh, I love Michael Jordan. Yeah, I was going for the Bulls.
No, I'm not. It's not. I wasn't even going there. I was going to say this. Your argument typically, it's not so much that You've never gotten mad at me because the Rockets or the Astros haven't been my favorite teams, or the Texans, the Oilers, you know, when the Oilers were there before they went to Tennessee. Your contention is that I hate these teams. I don't hate them. I don't hate on the Rockets.
Dude,
that's what you always called me a hater.
You said you hope the Sixers beat the Rockets because it's good. Are you kidding me, bro?
Pete, did I say I hope? I do. You know why I hope they beat them? I did tell you that because I want this notion to die that young teams can't win. That's why
against your own home team. Against your own
home team. I'm not a Rockets fan. I've never been a Rockets fan. That's why it's not a big deal to me.
Well, you better put that whiskey down you're drinking. That's syrup, whatever it is.
I would have said, if they played Golden State, I would be rooting for Philly over Golden State, over the Chicago Bulls. I want Philly to win. That's just how it is. It doesn't matter if it's the Rockets. If it were Philly and the Warriors, I'd be rooting for Philly. Hell, I probably would be with Gonzo and pick Philadelphia.
Man, I wish Philly would play if the Rockets don't win. If Golden State, I'm going for Philly. I'm gonna buy me a Joel Embiid jersey and a Ben Simmons, nice. and I'm gonna wear them at the same time.
There you go.
Man, this has been good stuff, guys. It's good to have the gang back together again. This is what I'm thinking, Pete.
Yeah, what's up?
After Saturday, after the Philly game, are you down to do a post game on the Sixers?
What time's the Sixers game?
They play 8 o'clock your time.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Nice. Byron, are you down?
I'm down.
After you got to watch the game though. You actually have to watch it.
I do watch the games, man.
Okay. Gonzo, are you down Saturday?
Absolutely.
We'll go on after the Sixers game. That's the one we'll really talk about. We'll mention the games from earlier.
I mean, you can go the rest of the matchups. You might as well, since
Yeah, that's true. We'll break those games down. I'm not going to do anything Sunday because my cousin has a tournament. Although I'll be back by like 3 o'clock, so I'll be able to catch some of the games. I'll just have to look at the matchups. Yeah. When do the Rocket? Damn, shoot, they play it through. I'll probably be back just in time to watch the Rockets game Sunday. If I wasn't going to be back, I was going to tape it because I picked it to go 7, so I have a vested interest in watching it. So I don't. And then when the Timberwolves get blown out in Game 1, everyone's going to be able to see. We told you.
Well, we'll see
though. Yeah. Hey, but if the Timberwolves win Game 1, then it's going to be like, hey, maybe this Mac guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's at 9 Eastern. So I mean, by the time it's over, it'll be 11:30.
Is it 9 Eastern for Philadelphia?
No, for the Minnesota Rockets.
Oh, it's at night?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I will be back. Hey, we'll go on after. We might go on after that one. I'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
I'll let everyone know. And I think that'll do it. So everybody check for us on Saturday after the Philadelphia Miami game. Maybe we can get Alana on, but I doubt it because she'll probably have to do a write-up on it. So I know because she does the all-you-can-eat thing.
If Miami does win, you have to get her on. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. And she can rub it in my face.
Right.
All our faces probably, and she can get on and gloat, and that'll be fine. I'll take it. We can all accept it. That's gonna wrap us up though. So we'll be back Saturday, and then I'll post things out throughout the week and tell you which games we'll go on after, because we go on a lot during the season. We find a game, go on after. You'll probably see other guests on. Charlie couldn't make it today. He was going to come, but he couldn't make it today. He's with his nephew, so I understand. Families comes first. It's all good. So with all that being said, and you saw the two of us actually have Sixers as champions, he should be smiling, but he probably thinks we're fucking crazy.
No, I mean, I'm not going to say you're crazy. I could see it happening. I just don't think it's likely.
Hey, if I would have told you that 6 months ago, you would have thought I was crazy, right?
Yes, I would have. I thought 6 months ago you were crazy. They were going to be third. So.
Man, I know you for almost 20 years, and I know you crazy.
So.
All right, fellas. We'll see everyone again Saturday night, so I'll have all the links out. Until then, watch the Philadelphia 76ers on Saturday. And we are out.